With the release of its first season late last year, it didn't take long for Bridgerton to become the most popular period piece in the history of Netflix. But with the removal of Regé-Jean from the cast in season 2, fans of this show have some concerns. Do members of the production team feel the same though? And what else do we know about the second installment? For all this and more, stay tuned. Number 1, Kris Bowers speaks out on Regé-Jean's Page's exit from the show. First up on the agenda is a headline next to everyone in the fandom has been talking about this week. We are of course referring to the statements made by Bridgerton composer Kris Bowers regarding the exit of Regé-Jean from the franchise. For those of you who don't know, Page played the role of the handsome Simon Basset, who quickly stole our hearts with his impressive courtship of Daphne Bridgerton. To a large extent, he's the reason we found ourselves watching the show, with their love story being one for the ages. And since it was the soundtrack of the series that truly made us feel during those moments of downtime away from the drama and violence of the Regency period. It goes without saying that Kris Bowers had a massive role to play in making the franchise a successful one. And in a recent interview, the American composer went on to give fans a bit of a teaser as to what can be expected from season 2 of the show. According to Bowers, things couldn't be more different now that Page is no longer considered to be a regular cast member of the show. And while he absolutely loves seeing Simon and Daphne fall in love, he feels like Page's exit was necessary considering the new direction that Bridgerton is heading in. You see, this second season is going to focus on a new couple, and there's no doubt Page would have taken focus from this needed change. The new score is apparently something to behold. After reading the season's script for the first time, Bowers knew that he would have his work cut out for him. Shifting the desires of an audience member from one incredible couple to another is quite difficult to say the least, especially in this case where the fandom have been quite vocal about wanting to see more of Daphne and Simon. But after falling in love with the couple of Bridgerton season 2, Bowers has apparently outdone himself by creating one of the most impressive series scores to date. Once more, showrunner Chris Van Dusen asked the composer to complement the Regency period with some modern twists, similar to what was asked of him last season. But since the couple is different and their arc is fresh, a new perspective needed to be taken. And according to Bowers, who spoke widely of the process in his most recent interview, the process was very much one of a trial and error. You see, the Bridgerton family member season 2 will be revolving around a family member a lot different from Daphne. Anthony is a male after all, with perception of love that are somewhat different from the feminine perceptions we got used to in season 1. As such, there's no doubt that the show's theme is going to have to be remade with a masculine touch. Bowers also took the opportunity to state that as of right now, no attention has been given to Daphne and the love of her life, so fans shouldn't expect anything more. Anthony isn't the only focus of the upcoming season. As it turns out, fans won't just be paying attention to Anthony Bridgerton though. If Bowers is to be believed, Lady Whistledown will also be taking up a portion of the screen, with the character receiving special treatment by being given her own theme in the season. Looks like viewers are finally going to discover the true identity of the mysterious woman who is so brilliantly voiced by Julie Andrews. And according to Kris Bowers, he's been developing a theme to match up with this reveal to really drive the moment home for viewers of the show. This isn't the first time that Bowers has developed a theme for someone outside of the main relationship of the season though. Look back at season 1 and you'll come to realize that Anthony and Sienna Rosso also had their own theme developed. And since they're now the focus of the second season, this could mean that Lady Whistledown will be the center of the third installment. It's just a theory right now, but we wouldn't be surprised if it came true somewhere down the line. Her mysterious nature has been the talk of the show for a solid year now after all, and what better way to drive a third season home than by focusing on a character we have so many questions about. Either way, we can't wait to see what the showrunner has in store for us in the coming years. Bridgerton is no doubt here to stay. Can we expect new artists to make an impact this season? Last but not least, Bowers concluded his interview by stating that ultimately he's just in control of composing the tracks meant to accompany the show's intricate story. In other words, he doesn't make the final decision as to what viewers will actually hear when the series returns next year. That's the job of the music supervisor, Alexandra Patsavas. There are two artists that Bowers really hopes will make it to the silver screen when the show finally comes out. The artists he referred to were none other than Olivia Rodrigo and Moses Sumney, who recently had a hit song featured in the HBO drama Lovecraft Country. For those of you who don't know, Olivia Rodrigo is the voice behind songs like driver's license, and good for you, with many experts on the scene describing her as the next Taylor Swift of the industry. Despite her young age, there's no doubt that Olivia sings with a vast amount of experience and skill, so we can't wait to see what she may have in store for us in the context of Bridgerton. Her music isn't exactly Regency era though, so there's no doubt that Bowers has had his work cut out ensuring that she fits in with the sound of the show. And Moses Stummy can pretty much sing anything you put in front of her. Suffice to say, season 2 of Bridgerton is going to have a score that rivals its first season, which is really exciting. Number 2, Bridgerton season 2 has finally wrapped, and it looks like season 2 is set to hit our screens sometime in 2022. Creator and showrunner Kris Van Dusen recently celebrated the franchise by indicating to the fandom that season 2 has wrapped with filming. All that remains is for the post-production crew to get their work done, and since there isn't much required of the department as far as virtual effects go, there's no doubt that we can expect the show to be released sometime early next year. As of right now, no official release date has been announced, an unfortunate result of the effects of the coronavirus pandemic. Although things have very much returned to business as usual on sets, positive tests still result in minor delays that could essentially miss an already announced release date. So it makes sense that we'll only get this information once the franchise is finally ready to show up on Netflix once more. That being said, this hasn't stopped Van Dusen from teasing what may be in store for fans in the days to come, posting a picture of himself hugging the two leads of the season, Jonathan Bailey and Simone Ashley. He captioned the social media announcement with the news that filming had wrapped, adding that words are not enough in reference to what is to come. In other words, we can expect the intense drama and love that season 1 brought us, but this time with a different couple altogether. Number 3, the ending of Bridgerton is nowhere in sight. Fans of the franchise will also be pretty happy to hear what Shonda Rhimes had to say about the future of the show. For those of you who don't know, she's one of the executive producers of the show and thus knows what outline the series will be following in the future. When asked about the ending of Bridgerton, Rhimes went on to say that the franchise still has many stories to tell. In fact, the intention is to have the show continue until each Bridgerton sibling has their time in the sun. In other words, we can expect quite a few more seasons considering just how many Bridgerton siblings there are. As it turns out, the broad plan is to bring out a total of 8 seasons, allowing each one to be dedicated to a specific love story so that viewers don't get shortchanged their favorite characters at any point. Fans should be mindful that this is a general overview of what the creators want though, and since things change constantly in the filming industry, we shouldn't get our hopes up. Still, great news though, and there you have it, some of the headlines Bridgerton fans should know right now. What do you think of the removal of Regé-Jean though? And what are you most hoping to see in season 2? Feel free to let us know in the comments section down below.